are, but how they work, how the government helps them, and how entire generations of black families have learned to survive them. Because this wasn't just local hate, it was policy. And it was everywhere. Sundown towns were places where black people were told in no uncertain terms, don't be here after dark. Signs at the city limits would warn you, don't let the sun set on you in this town. And it wasn't just a threat, it was enforced. Police would arrest you, neighbors would form mobs. People were run out of town, beaten, and even lynched. And this wasn't just limited to Mississippi or Alabama. We're talking Illinois, Indiana, California, Oregon. Hundreds, likely thousands of these towns all across America. Places that made being black after sunset a crime in itself. But here's what they don't teach you. This wasn't just angry white neighbors putting up signs. It wasn't just local mobs. The federal government helped to build and maintain these all-white spaces. During the 1930s and 40s, the Homeowners Loan Corporation, they made maps that graded neighborhoods. If black people lived there, they colored it red. Called it hazardous, no loans, no investments. That's redlining. And it locked people in. Made sure that black families couldn't buy homes or build wealth. But they didn't stop there, of course. The Federal Housing Administration required racial covenants in new suburban developments. They demanded that the developers guarantee that those homes would only be sold to white buyers if they wanted those cheap, federally insured loans. It wasn't a suggestion, it was policy. Taxpayer money literally underwriting segregation. White families got the homes, the loans, the equity. Black families got shut out. And if they tried to move in, they risked violence. Because sundown towns didn't just say, don't live here. They said, don't even pass through. And this is where the Green Book comes in. Black travelers needed an entire guide just to stay alive on the road. Victor Green started publishing it in the 1930s because he knew the danger. He listed places where black people could safely eat, sleep, and buy gas. Places that wouldn't turn them away or call the cops. Or worse, because entire counties could be sundown. A black family driving across country couldn't assume that they'd be safe anywhere after dark. They planned routes around hate. They planned around survival. That wasn't ancient history. Our parents and grandparents lived that. So don't let anyone ever tell you that segregation was a Southern thing, or that it was just mean neighbors putting up signs. It was written into federal policy, enforced by police. It was mapped by the government and funded by our tax dollars. And when black families found ways to survive it, they had to publish a whole book just to make it through the country safely. That's the truth. That's the history they try to sanitize. But it's ours to tell. Because if we don't say it out loud, they'll just keep pretending that it never happened. And we're not here to let them forget. Let's tell the truth about sundown.
Sundown towns is a real thing, and I'm pretty sure I drove through one last night. So just yesterday morning, I started driving from Chicago to Atlanta. So now on my way to Atlanta, the route I take, or where the GPS had me going, it had me going through Kentucky. I don't really know too much about Kentucky and shit like that at all. Like, I just know a little bit, but I just know it just felt weird. Like, it just was just the middle of nowhere. I really thought it probably was cracking. It's close to Tennessee, but I guess just not the place where I was at. So now, as I'm driving through, I needed to pee real quick and wasn't no gas stations nearby. So I just pull over real quick and I go to pee outside right fast. So as I'm peeing outside, it's like them loud ass trucks, you know, the pickup trucks, loud as hell, driving past. As they driving past, I hear jump in it. Yeah, that word. So I'm kind of confused whole time, like, what the fuck they talking about? But then when I look over, I see it's a pond right there. So basically, they was telling me to jump in the pond. So after I realized that was what they was insinuating, like, that shit low-key sent, like, chills through my body type shit. And I'm just like, yeah, let me hurry up and get the fuck from around here. Because I was just watching videos about sundown towns just not too long ago. So now I'm driving, and I end up stopping at a gas station real quick. Mind you, it's about 7 o'clock, and it's already dark, like, the daylight saving shit. So mind you, I'm low on gas, so I'm just trying to make sure I got enough gas to make it to where the next place where I need to go, somewhere where, like, it ain't finna be no weird shit going on. So I go up in there. As I'm in a gas station, everybody looking at me funny. It was another black person up in there, too, but they was like a whitewashed black person type shit. So I go up to go pay for my gas and shit. She told me the pump's not working right now. Mind you, as I was pulling up, I just seen somebody pull off from getting gas. And I say this to her. And after I say this to her, she ends up saying, you must not be from around here. So I just quit getting into it with her for a little minute. Then I just walked out. So now I get in my car, I'm driving, I'm trying to get to the next gas station. So I'm trying to hurry up, I'm speeding and shit. So as I'm speeding, I end up getting flicked. Like, the police officer turned their lights on. I gotta put the rest in part 2. Follow me to part 2 real quick. I'm pretty sure I drove through one.
Being a truck driver in Florida, let me tell y'all the first experience I had of finding out what a sundown town was. It was a Thursday. I was driving a 26-foot box truck from Orlando to Gainesville. So I'm between Ocala and Gainesville, but I gotta stop and get some gas and get some food or whatever. But I see absolutely nothing as I'm driving. It ain't no houses, no buildings, just road and trees. I finally find this old-ass Circle K gas station in the middle of nowhere. An old white lady that was helping me at the counter was sweet as can be, nice as hell. Hey, baby, what brings you way out here in these sticks? You just coming to get some gas? I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of familiar with these parts, but kind of not, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to Gainesville. I'm just shooting through. I'm in and out. She's like, all right, baby, God bless. You have a good one. Get my stuff, go back out to the truck, try to put the key in there and start the truck up. It will not start up. I wait a few seconds, put the key in there again, try to start it up. It will not start up. Don't know what the fuck is wrong. So I call my dispatcher, and my dispatcher tell me to look up under the hood to see if I can figure it out. I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I say to myself, man, I'm not about to go look up under this fucking hood. I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know what I'm looking at. I signed up to be a driver. I ain't no damn mechanic. But I'm sitting there for like 20, 25 minutes, so I get bored. I'm like, all right, man, let me just go look up under the hood, see what I can see. So as soon as I get out of the truck, go around, pop open the hood, and as soon as I look down, the lady that was helping me in there comes out in a panic. What's wrong, baby? Is everything okay? Are you all right? I say, yeah, ma'am, I don't know what's going on with the truck. It won't start up, and I don't know much about trucks. I called my dispatcher. I don't know what they're going to do. They figuring it out now. She was like, all right, well, do you need a tow truck or anything? Do you need an Uber or a taxi to take you closer into town? And I was like, no, ma'am, I'm not allowed to leave the truck. It's a lot of valuables on this truck, and I'm delivering. I can't just leave the truck. I can't just leave it. She was like, all right, I understand. And she goes back in the gas station, but she keep looking at me, looking at her watch, looking at me, looking at her watch, and then she comes back out there and says, well, you don't want to sit up in some hot truck. You can't get it fixed, no AC, and there's nowhere for you to sit down in there. Like, so you're just going to stand out here and just sit in this hot truck? I say, honestly, man, right now, I don't have a choice. I'm just waiting for my dispatcher to hit me back. She said, okay, I understand. My dispatcher called me back and was like, listen, we got a tow truck coming out there in about 2 hours. Just sit tight. I'm like, damn, 2 hours is hot as hell. I'm ready to go. Then again, I was like, it's all right. I got food. I got drink here. The sun about to start going down. It's not going to be that hot, whatever. And I didn't want to go in the Circle K because of how the lady was acting. So I was just like, I'll be all right, whatever. She seen me get off the phone. She ran out to me again, and she was just like, did you figure anything out? Do you know what you're going to do? I was like, yeah, my dispatcher said they got somebody coming in 2 hours for the tow. I'll be fine. She was like, 2 hours? The sun will be down by then. Are you sure they can't figure anything out before then? I was like, they said 2 hours. And she looked at her watch, went right back in the store. A few minutes go by, I get thirsty, so I ran in the store to go grab a Gatorade. As soon as I go in the store to get a Gatorade, she had her back turned, and she was on the phone talking to the police. Talking about, yeah, he's been here for a while, you gotta come get him, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't put 2 and 2 together until I bought the Gatorade, and I left, and I was like, damn, she was calling the police. She was calling somebody on my ass, like, what the fuck? So I called my dispatcher back. I'm like, yo, I don't know what's about to go down, but this old lady that worked at this store just been giving me problems or whatever. When she found out I wasn't going to be able to move my truck, I think she just called the police on me. I don't know what's about to happen, but can y'all fucking shake a tail feather? My dispatcher was like, why would she call the police? I was like, I don't know, and I don't want to find out. Can y'all hurry up? 5 minutes after I get off the phone, sure enough, the police pull up right behind my truck. A black police officer gets out, and he asks me what's the problem, asks me what's going on. He assesses the truck and says, listen, I'm going to have to take you somewhere. I said, I can't leave my truck. Like, what are you talking about? You about to get me fired. He said, listen, I'm going to have to take you somewhere. Get in the truck. Get in the back of the truck. We driving for about 30 seconds. And I'm like, bro, where the fuck are you taking me? He was like, are you familiar with the mall area? He's like, that's a good area. I said, yeah, I'm familiar with the mall area. He said, yeah, that's where I'm taking you. I said, what the fuck you taking me to the mall for? I can't leave my truck. He said, you have to leave your truck. I said, why? Because that bitch called the police on me. I ain't even do nothing. He said, she didn't call the police on you. She called the police for you. I know her personally. He said, in 45 minutes, that sun was going to go down and you was going to go missing. And I ain't say nothing else. I already knew by then. I put 2 and 2 together by that point. When we finally got to the mall, I called my dispatcher and I told the officer, I'm like, yo, I need you to tell my dispatcher why I had to leave the truck. And he grabbed the phone and told my dispatcher everything, got on the phone, called my boss and told my boss everything just so I wouldn't get in trouble. The lady was scared for my life. Even the officer didn't even stick around. He like, yeah, I'm just going to drive you out here. Because he could have easily been like, well, I'm just going to stick here with you so nothing happened to you. He was like, nah, nigga, we got to go. We got to go. Even when the tow truck guy came and picked me up, I told him where it was at. He put it in the GPS. He was like, yeah, I'm not going over there. I said, what the hell? He said, yeah, I'm not going over there that late. I'll come back and get it in the morning. Motherfuckers didn't want no part. But yeah, this was about 7 years ago, and I swear I think about that shit every other day. Damn near every day. And shit, I mean, because she could have just not said nothing. She could have just let me sit there. And I would have went missing like a mother. Being a truck driver in Florida,